Talk Show.
It's the Daily Talk Show, episode 621.
And we got Lehmo in the building. Welcome to the show, Lehmo.
Wonderful to be here, guys. Before we go anywhere, I want you to list the 620 guests that you prioritised ahead of me.
Far out.
We've been emailing for a while. I believe Tommy's been on the email.
I bumped, our old office was in Easy Street. Your agent is over there, I think it is.
Correct.
Yeah. And so we bumped into you and we're having a chat one morning and young mate, Mr. 97, was there.
It was early days. Like, I don't know if 97, it would have been...
He hadn't hit puberty at that point.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it was a young man, sort of first job. This is his first job.
Yeah.
But he, what happened? So
we were having a conversation and we're talking about the podcast and all that sort of thing. And you were ordering a sandwich, which is great.
Yeah.
Right.
And,
it rings true so far.
yeah, yes.
And so we had a great conversation. 97 was there. We were talking to you. And then as you walked off, 97 said, "That guy reminds me so much of Lehmo." Which
It's good. It's nice to be a slightly crustier version of yourself.
Yeah.
If that guy had a shower and a shave and was 10 years younger, he'd be Lehmo.
How did you feel about that, Sebs?
Yeah, a bit embarrassed.
Now, say sorry. No. How close are, like on the panel for the project, how close are you in terms of proximity to the other people next to you? Is it like this, like when you're on there?
It's not quite this close. No. I mean, this is cozy.
Yeah, it's nice. Isn't
I like it. I like to be within hand's reach.
How's the temperature though of the room? Is it this room specifically?
It's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not too hot. Not
Do
too
I look?
cold.
Do I look a bit hot?
No.
Am I sweating?
No. I like to make sure we have a cool room. But actually, talking temperature in the room, are you a Nandos guy? Do you eat much Nandos?
But before we get to Nandos, cold room is good for comedy. Just by the way. Yes.
Oh, that keeps you
So
alert.
David Letterman famously had a very cold studio, and guests were told to never mention it while they were being interviewed.
Really?
Because otherwise everyone would bring it up and it would get boring.
Well, it's like the number thing. You know, you brought up the episode number. Every single comedian that we've had on the show leads with the number gag.
Do they? Yeah. That's because we're all equally insecure. And
they equally hate when I bring it up as well.
No, we just all want to be loved and we can't work out why others are loved more than us.
It's just that you got to check your email.
It's the classic, like a comedian will perform to 1,000 people in a room. 999 will lose their shit. And the one person who's not laughing is the person you'll try and hunt down after the gig and the other person you'll think about when you go to bed that night. Not the 999 who had the greatest night of their lives.
Yeah. Is that so? You personally, are you hard on yourself as a comedian?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You only ever think about the stuff that doesn't work.
Yeah.
And it's rarely is a show ever 100%. So there's always something at the end where someone will go, great show. And you go, yeah, but I bloody stuffed that joke up. They'll say, I didn't notice.
Yeah.
So I did.
Yeah.
Back on the checking the temperature of the room.
Yes.
Nandos. Do you eat much Nandos?
No.
Okay.
I'm not much of a fast food kind of guy.
Really? Fuck, Nandos is fast food to you? That's high
That's fine dining for Josh.
Fine dining, right?
Eat in. Nando's fast food. That's.
Would you take someone for a date to Nando's?
Definitely. I'd take my girlfriend. Like if we're doing something nice, she's like, do you want to do something nice?
Oh, you go to Nando's.
We go to Nando's, which is a lot better than Uber Eatsing Huckster Burger.
Right. Do you have a favourite Nando's?
Oh no, that's a really good question.
Yeah.
So I like.
I mean, and now I'm imagining now you've got a book at home where you've reviewed each of the individual Nando's around
Not
Melbourne.
far off. Smith Street is great because they've got table number 1, which is this really, like, you sort of get to see outside into the street, but it's like a bench that's curved so you can sit close. It's a perfect date seat. It's a bit obnoxious though because it's designed for probably 5 people to sit there, whereas my girlfriend Bree and I sit there on our on our own.
7-Eleven. Mason went to a Nando's. Sorry, I mix up the nicknames. I call him 7-Eleven.
Yeah, 97.
Went on a date to Nando's. What was the experience like? Because, I mean, Josh and I have been with our partners for quite some time. It's just going for dinner.
Are you trying to...
Oh, yes. Yeah.
You want us to say names?
No, it was takeaway.
You got takeaway?
I got takeaway, yeah.
On a date?
Yeah. Well, so we were getting something for dinner, and so we were going to go to the the drive-in cinemas. So we got a takeaway Nandos and then took it.
And you took it to the drive-in?
Yeah.
Well, that is old school. Where's the drive-in? I didn't know they still existed.
I have no idea
I think
where it
there's
was.
one in Coburg.
Yeah,
What is the
Coburg.
Coburg one?
Potentially. I mean, it's relatively close.
There's one down in Arthur
He
near
doesn't
Arthur
even
Seat,
drive.
Dramana.
He doesn't drive.
I
You
got
don't drive. You rode your bike to.
I got driven.
You got driven by your date.
Yeah.
Way to impress on a first date. I don't have my license. Can you drive me? Did you get blind then?
As in drinking?
Yeah.
No, I don't drink.
Did you get blind as in drinking? No. Did you poke something in your eyes so you'd never see again?
What's your go-to date night?
Can I just tell 97 something that's going to blow his mind
Yeah, all
from
right.
back in the day?
Yeah.
Drive-ins used to be everywhere, and they were as popular as indoor cinemas, right? Back in the day, back in my youth. You used to go to the drive-in, you'd wind your window down. Yeah, you heard me. Wind. There's a thing you turned like that, right? You'd wind it, and you'd wind it down about that far, and then you would get a speaker that was hanging on a pole. You'd pull it inside your car. It was attached by a cord, and you'd hang it inside your window. And that speaker would be the speaker.
Would you have two? Would it be surround sound?
You could get one either side, absolutely.
That's nice.
Provided there wasn't a car there that needed that one. But more often than not, you just have one hanging on your open window. So if it was cold outside,
That's a nightmare.
too
Old
bad.
The privileged Nandos in his car. He was eating chocolate. It was coming through the speakers.
Being driven by his first date.
Was it
It's a modern day
Do
man.
they tune in? Because I've never been. I want to go.
Yeah, you put
You tune in now.
You tune in, yeah.
Well, that's cool.
Welcome to the future, mate.
Yeah, that's great. And so date night, where would you go for a date?
I'm trying to think where. So I've been with my wife for 10 years now.
So you don't date.
So we don't date anymore. We went out to dinner in Chinatown. That was our last date together, a date day. So we'll either do the movies or a restaurant somewhere.
Yeah.
Probably not Nando's.
No, I get it.
What about date nights? Barefoot Investor's got his book. He's, so many people around Australia are doing date nights. Did you get
Finance
it?
stuff.
Oh, you're an ex-accountant.
Yes.
Sounds
Yes.
like an ex-crim or something.
Are you ever an ex-accountant or are you always an accountant? It's like a presidency. Are
No,
you always?
I am definitely not an accountant now.
So you couldn't look at our books.
I am no good to you right now. I have an accountant,
Okay, sure.
so I'm so hopeless.
Are
at
you
it.
happy with your accountant?
He's great. Yes, he's very good. I went to boarding school with him.
Oh, that's handy.
So him and his brother, I went to boarding school with both of them, and they were two of my best mates at boarding school. We studied accounting together, and then stayed really good mates.
Oh, that's good.
So I feel like I can trust them.
Does he get entertainment? Does he get all the bits and like? I feel like there's more shit that you can claim. No?
Yeah. No, he's across
He
it.
gets it.
He's
Good.
qualified.
Oh, great.
He gets the rules. He's got a copy of the Income Tax Assessment Act.
Oh, great.
I find
Works his way through it.
people who have been accountants or in the finance game have a certain mind. Like I've got a friend who creates content and he's an ex-finance guy, but he goes about it in this sort of very sort of, it's like a...
Profit and loss kind of way.
yeah.
You tend to be a bit more clinical.
Are you like that with your comedy, with your career?
I am like that with my. I'm a real list guy. I need lists. I'm always writing lists, and if I don't have a list, I get anxious. So every gig I've ever done, I've handwritten my set list down. When I'm on holidays, and this infuriates my wife, I need at the start of the day a list of things that are happening that day, or I just feel anxious through the day. Even if all it says is breakfast, lay on beach, go to bed. I go, great, that's it. I know that after breakfast, the only thing I have to worry about is laying on the beach until dinner time. But if there's no list, I'll be laying on the beach in the morning going, well, what's happening next?
So do you write the list or does she write the list?
I tend to write the list because she's not into lists.
So you would say, okay, what's on today?
Yeah. So I'd say to her, what are we doing today? And she'll say, well, I want to do A, B, and C. I say, okay, great. We can fit that in here, and here. You happy with that?
Do you write her a list and you a list, or is it a combined
It tends to be a joint list when we're on holidays, yeah. But I have to, so I'll consult with her. I'll make the list, and then we follow the list
Really?
to the letter.
You've got kids? You've got one kid.
He's 3.
Okay. Yeah, same. When was his birthday? Or her?
June 26. No, sorry, July 26.
July 26. So What about kids? Like that throws a spanner into the works for your list, mate. Is lying on beach. Yeah, bullshit.
Yeah. They do become the focus of your holiday.
Yeah.
Well, we went to Fiji recently, so Kids Club was very handy.
Oh, you got stuck in the...
We're in a cyclone.
Yeah, I saw the photos. You're boarding up the... They were boarding up the
They
windows.
boarded up our windows.
How'd that go on the list? Did you have that board up windows?
Well, cyclone kind of killed the list. It was to get up, have breakfast, sit in room for 9 hours, have dinner.
Bit of a doomsday prep list.
Yeah.
Are you someone that, are you a doomsday kind of guy? Like, do you think that you were talking about Trump before? I feel like people who like talking about Trump potentially have a doomsday look.
A sick part of me is excited about Trump's downside. I don't know. I just feel, you always want, of me anyway, I always want adventure and something crazy happening. Even if it's not the best scenario.
That's what I love about North Korea. It's like, what's Kim Jong-un about to do?
What's going to happen next? When you watch a car race, what do you want?
The car accident, yeah.
You want an accident. But
but you can't say that.
I don't want to drive to risk his life. But gee, I want to see an accident.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're stuck in that middle. I want to see what Trump's potential is because he'll win this next election, then he'll be president for 4 more years, and he's going to do some batshit crazy stuff. He's going to be off the chain. It's going to be mental what he's going to be doing. He will install one son as the head of all the intelligence agencies. He'll install his other son as the head of the military. His daughter will be the Secretary of State, and he'll, there's the little one.
Oh, yeah.
Baron.
Yeah,
Right, the Baron.
The one that nearly fell asleep standing up. That guy,
He'll be the youngest ever vice president or something. It'll just be family. It'll be a family business like Trump has been forever. He'll write Trump on the White House. It'll be the Trump House, not the White House.
Yeah.
And it's just going to be mad shit. And he'll level government buildings and put in more golf courses. It's just, fuck, I can't wait.
Yeah.
I feel like you've been into the politics, the US politics, in terms of when he started and what everyone thought he was going to do versus now.
Yeah.
What is the sort of
It's much
overview?
worse. It's much worse. People thought it would be vague incompetence. Right? And they were worried that it would be vague incompetence, where it's just being planned treachery, I would say. So anyone who disagrees with him, he sacks. Whereas Abraham Lincoln famously employed people from both sides of politics who he employed them because they would disagree with him, and he felt that would help him make the best decisions.
There's something very powerful about quoting or mentioning Abraham.
Yeah.
Is that something like, because I sort of make an effort where I'm like, I got a book on Alexander Hamilton.
Oh, yes, yeah.
It's a big fucking book. I'm never going to have time to read it. But there is that sense. Have you actively tried to learn things about him, or where did that come from?
That's the only thing I know about Abraham Lincoln.
And you managed to mention it. That's good.
But that is quite a famous fact about Abraham Lincoln. So you don't have to be a student of him to know that. You would, and because Barack Obama tried to replicate that when he was first elected president. But Trump's the opposite.
Sure.
He wants everyone who agrees with him, and if you disagree, then you're getting sacked. And even in recent times, if you disagree and you've got a family member in the White House, I'm not only going to sack you, I'm going to sack your brother.
Yeah.
He's just getting out everyone who disagrees. And then once you're surrounded by people who agree, life's just so much sweeter.
So how did he get away with? How did he get through the impeachment without being convicted or whatever they use?
Well, it was
impeached.
Impeached?
Yeah.
Well, he was impeached.
Oh,
but
yeah, he was impeached. That's right. Yeah,
He was
didn't get
impeached. So it's kind of like impeached is being arrested, and then the trial is the trial like you would have a trial in front of a judge, but instead of a judge, it's the Senate. So he got impeached by the House, and the Senate is majority Republican. So they were never going to. It's only 3 times before a president's been impeached. Andrew Johnson, and that was stopped by the Senate. Bill Clinton was stopped by the Senate, and he was stopped by the Senate. And Richard Nixon would have been convicted by the Senate. As soon as he realised that, he just quit.
Yeah.
So instead of being dragged out kicking and screaming, he went, I'm out.
Do you read a lot of news?
Yeah, I guess.
What do you read? What's your do you use phone apps, or what's the?
I'm on this thing called Flipboard at the moment.
Oh yeah, Fuck, I haven't heard anyone mention Flipboard in a long time. That was a big thing when the iPad first came out.
Yeah, right.
But it's still a thing.
It's still a thing. I don't know. I feel old when you mention an iPad.
The guy that mentions the drive-in cinema and the old speaker and flipboard.
Yeah, well, because it's like an old school Pinterest, or like it's just like it's like create your own magazine of news, right?
Yeah, so you just click on your favourite topics, your favourite websites or whatever, and then it just compilates news or compiles news relevant for you.
Oh, that's good.
And then it works out what you click on more than everything else.
So it's the it's a classic echo chamber.
It tells me exactly what I want to hear.
Yeah, perfect.
So you haven't got the Abraham Lincoln approach, sort of like some shit you don't agree with.
But I love reading mental Trump stuff, which is often on Fox News. Fox News, I fucking can't stand it, but I watch it all the time.
I watched Bombshell. Have you watched that film?
I haven't.
It's fucking great.
But I watched the TV series.
Was it a TV series?
No, it's the same story.
Oh, yeah.
But it was on Stan.
Oh, that's good.
And it was called
The Loudest Voice.
The Loudest Voice.
That's why we got him here.
That was
Thanks,
really good.
George.
With Russell Crowe. But what I've heard is it's very hard to watch Bombshell. Who plays Roger Ailes?
I don't know any actors, no. Sevs will be able to tell us. From Bombshell.
It's very hard to watch him if you've seen Russell Crowe play the same character.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because Russell Crowe's so good.
Because Russell Crowe, was that the one where he puts on heaps of weight and shit?
Yes.
Oh, fuck. So is that a TV series? Or
That's a TV series.
Oh, great.
Yeah, it's really good.
Well, the guy who is in Morning, what's that? What was the
Morning Wars.
Morning Wars. The executive producer that was in Morning Wars is in this Bombshell thing. So it's confused, especially when they're similar topics. It's very confusing when you have different characters playing different shit.
Okay, has he been typecast? Is that the only role he can...
because he was playing a different... He wasn't in... if he played the role of a morning show executive producer, I'd respect that, but he was playing the partner.
Okay.
How do you make sense of what is real? I guess what's the truth? Because you listen to the ABC. I think they created a podcast around Trump and the impeachment, or the look into Russia. Russia, if you're listening.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Which is great.
I mean, you're convinced he's just the biggest monster on earth and he's actually going to get caught and go to jail. It's like the way they lay it out, but then nothing happens. And so how do you make sense of what is real, what's not, what's really going to happen?
I used to listen to a lot of MSNBC, so Rachel Maddow, I would listen to a lot, her podcast, and Anderson Cooper from CNN.
Yeah.
But then if you listen to it every day, you would think over the last 4 years, you'd go, oh, well, Trump's presidency is about to end any day now, listening to that podcast.
Yeah.
But then you realise that it's really skewed.
It's like Michael Moore. Michael Moore is full on like that. But he's like, he leans into the hyperbolic nature, which is just like, Trump is done. This is definitely going to be the end of Trump.
And then it doesn't happen. It's like people, climate, where people say, don't buy a house on the coast. I remember 15 years ago, what's his name, Flannery, who was the Australian of the Year, saying don't buy a house on the coast because it'll be flooded in 2020. And then you get here and you think, well, what is the truth?
2021.
It's fine. I'd buy a house on the coast. I'd love, if I could afford it.
I wonder if
I'd love a house on the coast.
Has the real estate prices gone down if it's on a cliff? Do we know that?
Not in Vaucluse or Sydney or even Albert Park. They've been saying that about Albert Park.
Really?
The water's going to come in because it's on swampland, so it's like almost lower than sea level, something like that.
So I feel like you've got who do you believe? I don't know. And then the media is so can you believe a word Murdoch says? The Murdoch press?
I didn't even know about, I'm pretty dumb. I knew nothing about, from the news perspective, I didn't know that there was, left-leaning and right. It's only in the last, 3 years.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy.
And the ABC is actually very balanced. I know I work there from time to time, but it really is.
Yeah.
They go to so many lengths to provide both points of view.
And do you think that most people would say that is... When it's balanced, do most people say that's actually left-leaning? Is that what ends up happening?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because the people out on the right are, a lot of the time, kind of crazy.
Yeah. But because I was thinking the other day around the super, so you got the super, the far right, and then you've got the far left.
Yes. They're as crazy as each other.
Well, yeah, because that's what I didn't realise. But you start seeing at the start, it's we've got to be open-minded and all that sort of thing. And then... But then you see what can happen where people are just no, you're getting anger, I guess, on both sides where it's no, we just need to be angry right now is potentially destructive.
They'll search keywords on Twitter and find places to be angry.
Yeah.
It's like, on commercial radio, if ever you mention Jesus, the switchboard would light up straight away, regardless of the context.
Oh, really?
You could just on solo just go Jesus, and then people start phoning.
We had people call in. I used to work in Shepparton on radio. They told us we got to pull back on saying Jesus.
Really?
And it was, obviously I was doing a passage each morning when we opened it. But just Jesus. Oh, wow.
So you couldn't say grace before breakfast anymore?
It was bullshit. It was bullshit. So I went to the Judaism Bible and that was okay.
That's very good.
That sounds good.
Went to
Sounds
3
good.
bar mitzvahs. That's how I know.
Here's a fun exercise for you. Well, is it fun? I don't know. It's fun for me. Get a right-wing columnist, okay? And every time they use the word left in the column, replace it with right. Because they often write about themselves without realising it.
Yeah.
So what you'll get is, let's say it's an Andrew Bolt, for example. He'll say, the insane left only care about themselves and their crazy agenda. They're screaming into an echo chamber, not realising they don't represent the views of all Australians. And it's just, that's exactly what he is.
Yeah.
But that's what he writes about the left.
Have you thought from the standpoint of being a comedian, talking about politics, what have you learned? Because I guess there's probably a bunch of people that say, fucking Lehmo, you lost me. You fucking lost me.
Yeah,
You're losing me.
You're far left, Lehmo.
Yeah, you're fucking losing me right now.
I don't talk about politics on stage or on radio.
Just on
At all.
podcasts.
Just on this podcast. You shouldn't have got me started because it's all it's all in there, ready to come out.
But
I don't talk because I think in breakfast radio, people don't want to hear about politics driving to work in the morning.
Yeah.
I don't think. They just want to laugh and have fun and turn their mind off of shit. And they don't want to be told what to think by some fuckhead like me, right? And on stage, I don't feel as though I'm smart enough to be able to really deliver on sharp political pieces. I'd rather just talk about my wife and my dog and my son. And the fact that I'm getting old.
Is it fast food?
Fast food or a delicate treat?
Are you a
Nandos.
healthy guy, do you think?
No.
Really?
No.
But you have something, but you're, like, I feel like people don't say fast food. Fast food sounds like something you heard in the 90s.
Yeah. I'm sure my age.
You know?
But see, because I'm getting older and it's harder to lose weight, I just can't afford to be eating that type of food. It makes me... Have you ever measured how quickly food makes you sad?
Yeah.
Right? So you think about, and I'm talking about when you eat something, okay, how quickly does that item of food make you sad? Now, for me, the fastest path to sadness is a donut.
Yeah.
I won't even be finished a donut and it'll already have made me sad about the fact that I'm eating it.
Yeah.
Literally, like, my Uber Eats person being late, I'm already sad about. Like, before it's even arrived, I'm like, I don't fucking want. It's going to be shit. It's going to be soggy. It's going to be.
There you go. So if I'm eating Nandos or Macca's or whatever, Hungry Jack's, and I'm smashing one of those burgers, I'll love it initially, and I'll probably love it until I finish it, but I'll be sad within 2 or 3 minutes.
Any happy foods that you have that make you happy?
Steak.
Oh, yeah.
Steak makes me happy. That puts a big smile on my face. And I stay happy afterwards.
What about salad?
Salad? I like a salad these days. So a salad will make me happy. Steak and salad, steak and 3 veg, really, that takes me back to my childhood. So that puts me not only in a nutritious good place, but an emotional steak and 3 veg.
How many glasses of wine have you had at that point? Is it the wine that's making you happy?
Heaps. I went to the doctor recently because I'm over 50 now, right? I went to the doctor recently and he said...
It's when you start going to the doctor?
Yeah, 50. How many standard drinks do you have a week? Right? And I said, how many standard drinks in a bottle of wine? He said 8. I said, well, 56. Right? And he said, that's too many. You can't have 56 standard drinks a week. And I said, what's the limit? He said, it's 10. I said, 10 a week? He said, yes, 10. Anyway, I went home and told my wife and she cracked it at me. And she said, you meant to lie when you answered that question. And I said to her, I fucking did. I didn't include any beer at all. I only included wine. So I need to cut back on drinking. So that's unhealthy.
Yeah.
And so last night, for example, I went out for a friend's birthday dinner at the pub. So my wife and my son and I had kangaroo and
Very
some red
lean.
wine with some veggies. So that food made me happy.
Yeah.
Had some red wine, all good. Got home and I'd had a couple and I went, I might go get a bottle of red at the Botlow. And we live so close to a Botlow, like 30 metres,
Really?
which is dangerous.
I'm actually
real dangerous.
above Dan Murphy's
Yeah,
on Smith
right.
Street.
You're
so that's
closer.
like I'm close. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I still fuck the timing of when it's open. Anyway,
That would be the end of me.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm 30 metres. So I go and get a bottle of Pinot, come home.
What sort of price, by the way?
Yeah, that's how I shop for wine because I don't have I don't know.
Yeah. Like 28 bucks.
I normally go between 20 and 30.
Mhm.
And that's where I feel like I'm getting a decent Pinot without breaking the bank.
Yeah, no, makes sense.
So I get a bottle of Pinot and I tend to go, I'll either go Yarra Valley or
Coastal. You got to
I'll go
coastal.
South Australia or Victoria
Okay. Mhm.
for my wines. Anyway, and then I had a big packet of Fruit Chocks, which is a South Australian bit of confectionery that I love because I've just been in Adelaide. And then I sat down in front of the television. My wife went to bed, my son went to bed, and I drank red wine and ate chocolate until I felt sick.
At what point did you get sad?
I got sad when I realised how much chocolate I'd eaten. I went, I need to go to bed. And then I was a bit sad when I woke up this morning and I felt bloated.
Was that last
Yeah.
night?
That was last night, yeah.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
So I was watching, I watched The Circus, which is a show on Stan about that follows the US, just follows US politics. And they release a different episode each week.
At what point are you working? At what point are you setting aside time to write or is that part of it?
Was it on the list? Was all this on your list?
Yeah, see, I didn't really have a list yesterday. That was one of my problems.
Do you have to put when you're going to be sad on the list? Or
No, that just occurs naturally. I just wait for that to happen.
it's
So I had a mole removed yesterday, which is why I've got this
Yeah, you can hardly tell. Yeah.
thing there. So that was part of my day yesterday.
Did they tell you had to get it done? Like, did they say?
He actually upsold me. So I went to see him for a mole check and I had a full body mole check and he said, yeah, you're all good. And he pointed at this and he goes, you ever thought of getting that removed? And I said, to be honest, I have thought about it a few times. And he said, and the doctor, his actual line was, he said, well, it's not paying any rent. It's giving you no return on your investment. You always get rid of a bad tenant. And he said it's really easy. It'll take 20 minutes.
Do you talk about price? Because I went to a doctor with my ingrown toenail, and I felt he fucked it, by the way, but that's another story. But he was like, okay, $550 it's going to cost. I'm thinking, okay, that's an iPad, whatever. And then he said, but it's going to happen to the other side. So if you do the other side, I can do that for half the price. And I was sort of like, I don't like this idea that this guy's talking to me that's meant to be a medical professional.
Buy one, get one.
Yeah,
half
and
price.
so was there a bit of was there a
No.
conversation on price or what's it?
He said
Contra, an Insta story.
I was taking photos.
This could be your credit line.
Yeah.
What do you-
Swipe up to find Lehmo's surgeon.
Yeah. I was taking photos through the process because I was going to do a story.
Oh, great.
And I forgot the punchline though because last night I went to a mate's birthday at the pub and I wanted to take a photo of everyone there and say it was the mole's farewell party. But I forgot to take the photo of the group.
You were thinking about getting that bottle of Pinot later.
Yeah, I was. I was thinking about getting sad later on. So he upsold me to get it removed, but the price I discussed with the receptionist.
Okay. After it or before?
No, after. He said if you want to do it, make this type of appointment with the receptionist.
Okay.
She'll give you the price. It's up to you.
Oh, great.
I said, sure.
And did it happen all straight away? So you went to the receptionist?
I went out, made an appointment for 2 weeks' time.
Oh, okay,
and that
sure.
2 weeks' time was yesterday.
What did you pay?
I think it was like $400 or something.
It's an iPad.
It's
Is it an iPad?
Old version.
Yeah, you could definitely go, at least to be able to play your flip book. You could go the original iPad. I'm sure it'd still work.
My flipboard.
Clipboard, sorry.
Have you noticed that old people take photos with iPads? That's an indicator that someone's old.
No, I grabbed a phone on the weekend at a 40th and I said, fucking, my mum's phone's here, and it was all in large text.
Yeah.
You get basically hi there, and that's it. That's all that you can see on screen.
I'm nearly at that stage.
Do you wear glasses? Yeah.
I do have reading glasses over there. You take them with you everywhere. So reading glasses and quickies are the two additions.
Is it quickies for
Heartburn.
Indigestion, yeah.
And so, I mean, that could make you sad as well.
Yes.
Is the food connected to the heartburn, which is connected to the sadness?
Yes.
You think?
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty strong
Sadness has become a real theme, hasn't it?
Yeah, this is podcasting. This is what normally, by the end of it, you're sort of opening up and talking about your sadness.
Yeah. They're all connected, yes, 100%.
Okay. And so would you take is it called a quickies?
Quickies.
Do you take the quickies before you get the heartburn or when it started?
Once it started. Okay. So once you feel, I don't know if that's the right way to do it.
And what food? Is it acidic? Like a Pinot would do it? No?
I feel like it's just having too much. Too much of anything.
Did you
gives me
take one
heartburn.
last night?
No.
Okay.
No, I didn't have any heartburn last night.
Oh, that's good.
I just had sadness. I had the sadness without the burn last night. Years ago, I had stomach ulcers, which I guess were go through my medical history.
Yeah, this is great.
No, I had these stomach ulcers. So I was, I'll tell you the story. So my poo, right? This is before I knew I had stomach ulcers.
Yeah.
Was jet black, right? So I do the Sunday project one night, and Andrew Rochford, who was the resident doctor on the project, we finish a Sunday episode, and I see him afterwards, and he goes, "How you going, mate? You're right. You look a bit pale." And I said, "Actually, Doc, I've been feeling shit house." I said, "Really lightheaded. Every time I stood up, I felt like I was going to faint, right?" And this has been going on for about a month. It was really low on energy.
Sad.
And I said, "Oh, and my poo is jet black." And he stopped straight away in his tracks and he said, "I would send you to emergency right now if you were my patient."
Wow.
He said, "Given
But I'm a TV doctor.
so I don't have any idea."
He's in the makeup chair.
Yeah. So he said, "You should go to emergency now." He said, "If you have to wait till the morning, then wait till the morning, but you need to go to a doctor ASAP." So I had these ulcers and I was bleeding internally, which is why my poo was black. And I was feeling faint because my blood count was really low because I was bleeding so much, right? Anyway, I didn't know any of this. Nearly needed a blood transfusion, but didn't quite. And then I went in, but this is because I was getting bad indigestion at the time.
Yeah.
But then I had this operation and they gave me this medication. I didn't get indigestion for 5 years after that. It's like this miracle cure. And I was like, that's fucking awesome. Anyway, it started to come back again.
Oh, no.
So I'm checking the colour of my poo.
So, what do you think?
What are we at? Let's check the colour in the room.
I've got like a British paints colour chart.
Matching your
Just hold it up next to the...
Well, I think licorice would probably make you shit. But like there's a few other things that it could have been. And also licorice apparently raises your blood pressure.
Right.
Which is a fun fact.
I don't-
Are you a licorice guy?
No.
Are you an olives guy? Do you eat olives?
Yeah, I'll have an olive from time to time.
Pickles?
Yeah, I don't mind a pickle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Would you have a jar of gherkins at home?
There possibly are a jar of gherkins at home, but I wouldn't have them by themselves.
Sure.
It's
cheese or what do you put?
pickle in a sandwich.
Oh, yeah. Well, you're a sandwich guy, as we discussed.
That's how you met young Mr. 97.
I'm a sandwich guy. I'm not a fast food guy. Though.
You're a sandwich.
I'm a sandwich guy.
It came pretty fast, that sandwich. Is that fast food?
Well, I've gotten into Subway, which I know is like bottom of the pits sandwich, potentially.
But there they have sandwich artists.
Yeah, but they don't care. That's the one thing. Like, and the other thing too is,
But maybe that's hip art. Artists that don't give a shit.
Don't care. But the thing is that, like, normally, I think that I don't think any sandwich artist cares. Like, if Subway, not Subway, they all don't care. But the thing with Subway is they're in front of you when they're making it, right?
Yeah.
When your sandwich is getting made, they can sort of be out back crying making a sandwich, and you don't see. But you see, like, the lady the other day overcooked my eggs. So what happened was risky. I don't normally do meat at Subway. Just never do, because they've got the drawn-on lines already from
They have seafood at Subway?
Yeah, they do the tuna using an ice cream scoop.
Ugh.
It's just not. Don't use an ice cream scoop for anything outside of ice cream.
Or don't go to Subway for your sandwiches.
No, but I've worked out the ingredients that are okay at Subway. But the egg the other day, I had one sandwich artist, and then it changed sandwich artists halfway through, right? Which can sometimes happen.
So you've got one sandwich made by two artists.
Yeah, exactly. That's
Okay.
It's worth more, of course. But no, so the first sandwich artist put the eggs on for like 2 minutes because they're made and they just put it on for 30 seconds and give it a zap, right? Efficiency, fast food, you know how it is. But then the second person that took over didn't realize that the eggs had already been cooked. And so they did it for another 30 seconds. I was sort of like at the time, I'm like, do I mention anything? I'm like, you know what? It's going to get rid of bacteria. So I'm happy for it.
But it's your sandwich. You should be free to yell out.
But I didn't say anything. But then the lady grabs the eggs with her gloves, and because the eggs are so hot, because they're double the temperature than what they're meant to be.
Yeah.
She's going, oh, fuck. And the gloves sort of, because it's a very thin plastic, almost like a plastic that you'd get at like a Mr. Donuts, you know, like the sticking to her hands. And I was just like, and part of me in that moment, I was like, wanted to say, hey, I'm right here. Like you don't have to sort of create a fuss in front of the customers. But I was like, she just burnt her hand. So I was just.
Do you pay at the start or at the end?
At the end.
Oh, so you could have walked away.
I could have walked away, but I wanted. You see the development of the sandwich through the whole thing. And
So you become attached. You become attached to it.
I was nearly at the end.
Child, you were adopting.
Yeah.
I've noticed since it was this big.
But no, Subway's definitely fast food.
I can't believe you're getting egg on your Subway.
Yeah, it was a breakfast one. Yeah,
It's monstrous.
So, yeah.
Right. And so where would you? So Nando's is your pick though of the. Fast food?
Nando. Yeah, definitely. Because you can actually, TJ and I want to actually do a bit of an experiment where I do Nando's for 30 days.
Nothing but Nandos.
Yeah. Because they're a client, and so we do some video stuff with them, and so we.
Hang on a second. Hang on a second.
Yeah, this is a Nando's integration.
Sponsored by Nando's.
It's not.
It's not. But because we're just a podcast, they don't give us any money. But I'm hoping that we can like package this up and be like, look, we had like comedy's Lehmo talking about Nando's for 5 minutes. Can Josh get Nando's for 30 days? And I reckon I could get lean as fuck if I just had like the tenderloins.
Yeah.
And now don't start be defamatory to Nando's to ruin our whole.
It'll be cut either way. So.
Your problem is that have you seen the McDonald's movie?
Yeah, Super Size Me. Yeah.
Super Size Me.
Yeah. Morgan Spurlock.
Morgan Spurlock, and that doesn't reflect well on McDonald's.
Well, they did. Yeah, because he's eating McDonald's.
And he also, every time they say
what are you saying, Nando's?
Yeah, it's fucking great. No, seriously.
Can you get fruit at Nando's?
Mate, fruit, I guess we've said fruit's never your problem.
But fruit isn't your problem. Oh, that's
too serious.
That's Lehmo's phone.
Is that my phone?
Yeah, it's fine. It's just silly.
No,
it's
it's talking to us. It's listening. Well,
that is my. How do you turn? I don't know. See, I'm old. I don't know how to turn Siri off. That's a new phone. That happened to me on radio.
it's come up again.
I was on radio and I started
mute your phone. You just just have it muted.
I did have. It is muted.
That's.
But Siri still talks.
I don't believe it's muted. Can we have a look?
Yeah,
it's definitely not
Siri
muted.
still talks.
It's not muted.
No.
Not muted.
Siri still talks though. Well, I definitely had it muted on radio.
No,
and it went off.
This is just a podcast where you talk about being sad.
So I'm happy to leave it on.
The worst is, so if I'm listening back to this podcast, hey Siri, my phone is.
Hey, here we go.
No, but it's through it's through CarPlay, and then what it does is whenever it's interrupted, it jumps back 10 seconds, and so it's this forever loop of hey Siri, and then it jumps back.
There we go.
Yeah. Don't have to worry about that shit with Flipboard, you know.
No Flipboard. So I'll reveal something about myself here. I'll go, see, saying it again. I didn't get that. Could you try again?
Your closest Nando's.
Hey, it started saying the CarPlay thing that you were talking about.
Yeah, I did it?
Yeah. So I'll go to Flipboard.
Do you like Face ID, by the way?
Yeah, however, again, sign I'm getting old, only just got this phone. For the first week, I'm looking at my phone, I'm going, I can't bloody lock it. It just keeps unlocking. I don't know what the problem is. But I have Face ID. So every time I looked at it, unlocked. But I'm looking going, why won't it lock?
That is very annoying.
That's great.
So if we go to Flipboard, so this reveals what I look at most.
Yeah, great. Just a little flipboard review.
It's a flipboard reveal. So we'll update. Elderly Trump voters suggest making him president for life. There you go.
That's very
so that's off the website Raw Story. There you go.
So the interesting thing about Flipboard, because these curation, Google's gotten in a bit of trouble with this because they're curating news.
Yes.
But how are the news companies actually surviving? Like, because are they then sending you to New York Times or wherever it is?
Yes, they are.
Okay.
So that story.
So do you pay a New York Times subscription? Are you that
No,
heavily?
I don't. If I go to New York Times and I have to
put in your username?
put in a username, I just forget about it and go back to another story.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I can't be bothered paying the New York Times. I pay too many people too much shit.
What
right
subscriptions do you have? You
now.
love Stan.
Fucking hell.
You got a lot of Stan.
Just Stan, Netflix, news.com, Foxtel.
Can you pay for news.com.au?
He's worked out how to. Actually, he's a hacker.
Herald Sun's,
Herald
there's
Sun.
a paywall on Herald
yeah,
Sun.
Yeah.
And that also gives you Super Coach, and I get papers delivered with that as well.
Really?
What else? What other purchases? What do you spend your money on? Other than nappies and Pinot.
Yeah, nappies. Pinot picked my biggest expenditure. Not much. I mean, just stuff for the kid, really.
Yeah.
That's about it. I spend very little money. I have a lot of T-shirts.
Mm-hmm. Do you like cars, do you?
That's my biggest expenditure. No, I like Old Crow Medicine Show.
What's that?
The band.
It's a band.
It's
I
an
thought it was
American
a podcast.
It's an American band.
But you don't like cars? Don't give a fuck about this Holden
I
stuff?
don't care about. I don't really care about
the
cars.
Holden thing. Like, could you
it's
have
sad to lose an Australian icon. I think
that could have been anything. Like, you could be talking about fucking a singer, like an icon. Like,
we lost.
I was going to mention a singer's name, but I'm like, I don't want to like imply that someone's dead. That's not.
Are you saying John Farnham's dead?
Yes, that's what I was.
Are you suggesting that?
That's so funny. That's where I went. Do you go to many concerts? Or are you a music guy?
Not really, to be honest. I go to. I'd probably go to one or two a year, I reckon, and that'd be it. I used to go a lot years
The radio.
ago.
I mean,
when I was young.
But also radio stations. Like because I used to work in digital content at Fox back in 2012, and I used to get free tickets to everything.
Yeah.
But now I've got to it's painful to then buy tickets for shit when you used to.
Yeah, it is annoying, and I hate paying for tickets. So I bought my wife tickets to go and see RuPaul's Drag Race.
Oh yeah,
at the Palais. She loves RuPaul's Drag Race. That was great. We're going to see Annie DeFranco for my wife's birthday. That's in April, and we saw Elton John.
Oh, that's a lot of things.
Last year. So yeah. And I go and see Mick Thomas at least once a year from the band Weddings, Parties, Anything. Great pub rock Aussie dude. Yeah. He's great.
When you move from accounting or you leave that, which is a clear path to making money, into comedy.
Yes.
What's it like when you first actually start making money as a comedian? This is fucking actually working?
It's a fucking relief. It's such a relief.
Do you remember your first bit of cash you made?
Not really. Like the first time I got paid for a gig, I can't really remember it. But I remember my first job that paid me properly and just being relieved because I was in heaps of debt.
What was the debt from?
Well, I quit my job as an accountant and I was so bad at it that I was about 20 grand in debt when I quit the job.
What's a bad accountant?
20 grand in debt.
20 grand in debt. So I wasn't handling my personal finances very well. So I was in debt and I quit my job. And my first 12 months as a comedian, I was 32 years old and I was just sleeping on friends' couches and I earned, I think, $12,000 that year. And I was 20 grand in debt. So it wasn't a great year.
What was the interest rate on the debt? Do you remember?
I can't remember, but it was
credit cards,
but it wasn't one thing. It was it was 2 credit cards, a personal loan, bloody, American Express, Telstra. It was like a whole bunch of things that all added up.
I've got to pay my Telstra bill, by the way. Can you remind me?
Someone remind me.
I always feel like they don't fucking notify you. I'm always notified the second time when they're like, you owe us money.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Yeah, and then you've got trust problems with them, so you won't let them direct debit
exactly.
it.
I don't like them taking out. I like to just, I want to pay.
Yeah. So then and then this kind of went on for a couple of years And then I got a job in breakfast radio. So I was able to sort of start to solve those money problems.
Was there a plan there? So you got the debt, or did it just accumulate? You weren't thinking, and you just
I just wasn't thinking.
Okay.
And so
I always had
off?
I had a very strange financial risk profile for someone who's actually an accountant. As my the guy who does my accounting now, he says you're the only person I've ever known who has no money in the bank and looks at their credit card and considers that money in the bank. Because I'd say, I've got $4,000 available on my credit card. I'm going to go for a holiday.
Yeah. We got
For 6 weeks. I'm going to go $4,000. I'm going to go overseas for 6 weeks. I'm going to spend it all.
It's the kamikaze effect. Like you're completely just going for the wall and hoping that all of a sudden there's a door that opens up.
I don't know if are the kamikazes hoping that happens?
No, but they don't. It seems like
Deep down, I think they are.
they don't want to be. Look, if everyone's good people, but it's like thinking it's all going to pay off at some point. You've got to have that in your heart where it's like,
so I always had that bit of positivity. It'll be fine. It'll all work out.
So what, 32? Around 32,
So
was it the first radio job, or was that?
So that was when I was 34. I got that gig.
So you held in there for 2 years.
I was hanging in there for a couple of years.
Yeah.
Just doing stand-up and touring around the place.
Does it sort of play into the whole comedy thing, like the struggling comedian?
I think it helped. Yeah, definitely. It provides you with good motivation to be funny and write lots of material and book lots of gigs.
I mean, do you get sad looking at the ones that don't?
I'm going to call my next festival show Sad.
Looking at other people who might have been around you at the time that actually didn't make it. They were in the same debt. They're doing the exact same thing as you, and their chips didn't stack like yours did.
Yeah, to be honest with you, certainly all the people I was friends with at that time, all in their own different kinds of ways, have gone on to do they've taken all really interesting and fun paths, and not many that I can think of.
Only hang around with winners.
Only hang out with winners.
You've forgotten anyone.
Not many drifted off into something else, from what I can recall.
I'm sure you're.
I could be wrong.
I'm sure you're contacted though, as someone who's been in the industry for a while, that people that are in exactly the position you're in, and the chance is that they won't make it. The chance is they won't crack it in a big way.
Yeah, I guess it depends what you mean by make it.
Get out of debt, bro.
Get out of debt.
Less sadness.
Be sad less. Be happy. That's my goal. I just want to be happy.
How many gigs are you doing a week nowadays?
Well, I've just done the Adelaide Fringe. So in the lead up to the Fringe, I was doing 5 or 6 a week. Yeah.
What do you do in Adelaide? Like you do that. Like, so once you've done your show,
Yep.
do you have like a routine?
So I've got a list.
Oh yeah, sure.
I've got my list. So a typical
Do you have the same list? Like when it comes to like Fringe, do you like bring out that list?
Fringe list. No. I'll
You
curate
create a
it.
new-
I'll curate it depending what's
Okay.
going on.
You should have a website, Lehmo's lists. Seriously,
Just upload your list for the day.
Upload my list.
But you could also, depending on where you are, like it could be a bit of a travel type of thing. Like, go to this restaurant.
Can you help me put my list together?
Yeah.
Got any
That's a good
suggestions?
idea. Yeah, curated list.
List suggestions.
Yeah.
So on a typical day at the Adelaide Fringe, I would have.
Do you have a list today, by the way, that you can show us? You got any lists?
No, I haven't written the list down today, but it is in my head
Okay.
what my list is today.
Okay.
So
go with the Adelaide one, and then I want to hear today's list.
So I would get up in the morning, typical day.
What time?
8 o'clock.
That's all right.
Yeah. Speak to my wife, try and speak to my son.
This is in Adelaide?
Yeah, this is on the phone.
Okay. Are you in like a serviced apartment? Or what's
I'm
the deal?
in a hotel.
Mm-hmm.
So talk to Kel, talk to my son. Then I would go for a walk or a run
Mm-hmm.
in the morning. Then I get back to the room, and then I would arrange to meet someone for breakfast.
A fellow comedian?
Another comedian.
Okay.
So it could be, who did I have breakfast with while I was there? Lawrence Mooney, Tom Gleeson.
Oh, what's his name? Simon Taylor's over there doing the Fringe.
Oh,
isn't
yeah.
he?
Simon, I didn't meet Simon Taylor for breakfast, but Simon Taylor is over there. And Tom Gleeson, Mickey D. So whoever
Yeah.
have breakfast.
What do you talk about?
Sadness.
How sad we are. That's a fairly common theme amongst comedians. It really
How
is.
black is your shit?
Yeah. There's a lot of sad discussions amongst comedians.
Is there? It really
Yeah,
is?
it really is.
In what way? Like, is it I'm just feeling blue? Or it's like
No, not sad like that, but just sad in
The real authentic, just living in it. No?
just no one's ever happy with what's going on.
okay.
So it's about complaints about crowd sizes or how the show is received or reviews or successes of other people make you sad.
I mean, you get a level of awareness about it. Is it something that other people are aware about?
I don't think so. I don't think people realise how fragile comedians are. Yeah.
Do they love, like, I could imagine if I was a comedian.
So I'll give you an example. I won't name them, but I was meeting two comedians for lunch, right?
It's one of the names that he listed.
I'm meeting two comedians for lunch, not breakfast, so different list.
He's
for
thrown
lunch.
us off.
Nandos.
And I sat down and I said, oh my God, I've got the best Carl Barron story. And they both went, don't want to hear it. Don't want to hear it. Because they knew the story would be about ticket sales, because Carl Barron's a freak when it comes to ticket sales. They knew the story would be about ticket sales, and they both weren't happy with their ticket sales. So the last thing they wanted to hear was a really exciting story about massive ticket sales by another comedian. So they went, nah, don't want to hear it.
Is there a comedian that comes to mind that is the opposite? They love everybody. They share the successes of everybody.
No, that's
That's a
not one. And if they say they are, they're lying. No, not at all. So it would be breakfast with a comedian, back to my hotel. I might have a little snooze.
Do they have, is breakfast included in your room?
No.
So
but
you're
you'll always
going out to
always
a
go
cafe.
out for it. Yeah, go
Okay.
out to a cafe or something. Might go back and have a little snooze in my room. Often a movie in the afternoon. So meet either the same comedians or some different comedians.
Well, you go to the cinemas.
Go to the cinema together, yes.
Really?
So I saw 1917, Parasite, and Jojo Rabbit in Adelaide.
And so, like, that's interesting, going to the movies. What's the
Is it
thought?
stimulus? Is it
Do you end up just talking about the movies through your whole set?
you're just away from your 3-year-old? You're like, fuck, how good's this?
For me, I'm away from my kid and away from sort of home commitments. And I never go to the cinema. So something like that. And that would be the same. So I went and saw Jojo Rabbit with Lawrence Mooney. I went and saw Parasite with Tom Gleeson, Justin Hamilton, Nina Ayama, and Heath Franklin. And then I went and saw, what was the other one? 1917 by myself.
And so I guess it's a good thing, like, because you get to conserve or preserve energy. Conserve energy? Conserve because you're not talking to everyone. Is that part of it?
No, not really. I just, for me, I just never get to go to the movies.
Yeah.
And it's fun to go with comedians because we all have, certainly your comedy mates, you have similar
Who
sensibilities.
books them?
So in Adelaide, we would all, I went to 1917 by myself. I was late when I was.
Did you use Telstra tickets? Did you go through the Telstra?
Cheap.
No, I just buy them there. I was almost the only person in the cinema, which I love.
Yeah.
Which is my dream, is to be the only person in a cinema. I try and choose movies
Mate, you should get a TV at home. It's like
No, I like it. It's to get out of the house. It's like a great adventure. Yeah. So I'll choose films that have been out for ages, and I'll try and choose an obscure time. So, like a early morning Wednesday, for example, or Monday, of a film that's been out for 8 weeks or more. There's an excellent chance you'll be the only person in the cinema.
Great.
how does the cinema make money? Do you reckon at that point? Or
I guess it's just, someone just turns it on. So whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah. One person's in there. That's enough.
Like they've got the film.
yeah,
Just turn it on.
just play the DVD.
You're away.
Are you trying to preserve energy for the rest, like until you show at the night? Is that what you do?
No. So then you watch the movie, and then
So with the group one, who gets the group ticket? Sorry.
we all met each other at the cinema, then just lined up and bought our tickets.
And so do you? Because there's something about being an adult and then having to, like, if you're going up one by one, do you have to say, "Oh, can we sit together?"
Yeah. So I was the first in the line, and I said, "All of us are together," and she said, "Yeah, no worries."
Okay.
Anyway, but we went in. The cinema's huge cinema for Parasite. There were, I think, 10 people there, so us plus another 5. We were all sat next to each other, row of 5. There were 3 people directly in front of us, and then 2 people sat somewhere else in the cinema. But it was weird. Huge empty cinema.
Because there's
all
the
these people
best,
jammed together.
there's the best spots. Like, you know where the good bits are, I guess. Are you someone who eats? Like, would you get popcorn and stuff?
Yeah. So I would get Fruit Chocks, the South Australian confectionery that I love.
So what are they?
So they're like it's milk chocolate around an apricot square,
Yeah.
Okay.
and they're freaking
You
delicious.
grew up in South Australia, right?
Oh my God, yeah,
Is it something you had as a kid?
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I just love it.
You got any on you?
I don't. I finished the packet last night, so I would eat a whole packet of Fruit Chocks
How
myself.
big's the packet?
It's like a just normal lolly size.
Like lolly size, as in like you meant to share?
Family size of
Like a party pack?
Are you meant to share it? Yes.
Yeah.
Do I share it? No.
So did you ever, like, if you are with a group, is there a sense of like, hey guys, do you want
Did
to
you share your fruit
So
chocks?
I was sitting in between Heath Franklin and Hamo, Justin Hamilton, and I was eating all my Fruit Chocks to myself and piling them in while the trailer's happening.
Good idea.
The trailer for the new Bond film looks amazing, by the way.
Yeah.
And I'm piling them in. And then Hamo has got Jaffas.
Okay.
And he leans across to Heath and says, would you like a Jaffa? And Heath goes, oh, I'd love one. And then I felt bad that I hadn't been offering my...
Wait, and so that you were in between both of them, were
Yeah.
you? Oh, fuck.
It's a real, and he spoke loudly. Would you like a
Would you
Jack?
Well, they didn't know what the fucking little square things you were like you were eating were actually.
Did you
like,
give him one at least?
So, and there, well, I was nearly finished, so I didn't, no, I didn't. I didn't offer any around.
No, I get it.
So that was Parasite. So then you move in the afternoon, and then maybe an early dinner, depending if you have got a late dinner organised or not.
And not being a fast food guy, what do you have for dinner?
Just go to I'll either order a couple of days. I ordered pizza to my hotel room, for an early dinner.
Would you have a whole pizza on your own?
Yeah, yep,
It's pretty easy.
yep.
I go
And then-
large.
and then-
margarita, or what are you getting?
Normally pepperoni,
Pepperoni. Okay.
and then I feel sad.
How quick? What are we talking?
I reckon the pepperoni bits is the sad bit. I reckon if you had margarita, it would just like, I feel like if I have a margarita, I'm like, look, I've just had a bit of bread and tomato, and it's like
It's all the bread that makes me sad. It's not the pepperoni. It's all the bread. It's all the
get
bread.
that.
So, and then I do the show. A couple of nights I went for dinner after the show. So my mum came one night and we go to a restaurant, have dinner.
Yeah.
And then, or other nights in Adelaide, you'd have a late show. So I would do my show, or I'd be a guest on someone else's show. So I'd go and do my guest spot, then go and do a late show, or maybe a couple of late shows, and then just hang out, a few beers, back to bed.
Are you ever considering bloating when you're on stage? Is that an issue?
It's not. He's not doing fitness competition.
I
on
feel
stage.
like I would if I was doing stand up. I feel like I'd be like, you know what, I'm gonna not have the pizza. I'm gonna have the pizza after.
Oh, right, yeah.
It's never a consideration.
Oh, look, I'm beyond caring. 20 years ago, that might have been a consideration, but I just don't care. It's a great thing about comedy. Everyone's welcome.
Yeah.
As a comedian, you know. So if looks like I've got a beer guts on stage, then
Does it pay to be a bit not ugly? Ugly is the wrong word. But do you think it pays to be like? I don't think Tommy could ever be a comedian necessary.
All right, mate. Limiting belief. Keep to your fucking
Well, just
self.
because like I think that like
Projecting your sadness.
hot comedians. Not many hot.
Tommy Little?
Tommy Little. Okay, the other Tommy. But then how many
Tommy's
Tommies can you have?
Tommy's a spunk. Dave Thornton's a bit of a spunk.
Oh yeah.
Lots of spunks.
But I think
Do they
know
have
what?
to work extra hard to be funny?
you just have to be interesting.
Yeah.
You got to be interesting.
You gotta be funny, don't you?
Some people have a quirky look that can certainly add to their stage persona, but I don't think looking one way or another necessarily rules you out. But comedy is largely, I think, about imperfections, and if you're perfect, then there's not going to be much that's funny about you.
Yeah.
And
Because
just
you can't laugh
And
at
you
yourself.
are perfect.
How long before a show are you getting to the venue? Like, what's the
Look,
minutes?
I like to get there about an hour early normally, but it's just a quirk of the venue I was at. I couldn't access the green room until the show before me finished.
What are they doing?
Well, yeah, you can only access the green room through the venue.
Oh, yeah.
And
it's a
I
bit
couldn't walk
obnoxious.
through the venue while the previous show was on. So I was getting there about 15 minutes before my show started. So I'd stay in my hotel room till the last minute, then walk to the venue.
Does it make you anxious? Are you thinking, fuck, I need a bit more time to
I was
prep?
pretty relaxed in Adelaide because
The fruit
the ticket sales were good, and I was
Carl
pretty
Barron good?
no one's ticket sales are Carl Barron good. Well, unless you're Dave Chappelle.
Yeah.
So I was pretty relaxed.
Yeah.
Yeah. But normally that would make me anxious. I like to pace around beforehand.
What do you think is the consideration around ticket sales? When you've had really great years or bad years, what's been the contributing factor?
It does depend a lot on what else I'm doing. But our ticket sales also depend on momentum. So if people who've consistently done shows every year, provided they're funny, which most of them are, their ticket sales increase year on year on year. I've done really interrupted runs, so my ticket sales haven't had that consistent growth that some others would have had.
Is there anything you can point to, like radio when you were on Triple M, or is it on the if I'm on the project?
I don't feel like the project was ever shifted a lot of units. I don't think.
Carl Barron's on TikTok.
Is he?
Do you know about this?
Is he?
Yeah, he's huge on. Someone said, who was it the other day?
Is Carl Barron really on TikTok himself?
Well, I don't know if but he's below. Someone said they said a comedian's name, and it was another bald comedian. I'm like, you sure they're on TikTok? I'm like, do you mean Carl Barron? They said, yes, I mean Carl Barron.
I doubt that Carl Barron's on TikTok. I suspect someone else is putting
using
Carl
that
Barron
content.
material up.
Yeah. Apparently it's doing very well.
On
Can you look
TikTok.
that up as a thing, Sevs?
Because he's just not a social media guy at all. The only, which is part of Carl's genius, the only time you'll ever see Carl Barron is on stage.
Yeah.
Where does he live? Oh, that's my TikTok.
I'm pretty sure
Regional
he's still in
somewhere?
Sydney.
Carl Barron. I'm just checking his
What
TikTok.
about DVD? So DVDs used to be the big thing.
He sold a lot of DVDs
Yeah.
back in the day, yeah. When DVD sales were a thing.
And in Australia, is there the opportunity? So like in the US, it's all about getting the Netflix special. Is there any conversation
I think
around that?
Yeah, we tend not really to have those conversations. Oh, I certainly haven't with other comedians. But yeah, I guess now Stan does a lot of specials. So that's certainly an avenue for comedians in Australia. Yeah.
What about acting for you? Where does it sit in terms of what you want to be doing?
Well, I enjoy acting. I do love it. We've done 4 seasons of Utopia now, and that was really, really good fun. Loved working with the Working Dog guys. So I would like to do more acting. Yeah.
Is it? I mean, I always think about if I was to do acting, it'd be I couldn't do anything more than just some heightened version of myself. For you,
Well, that's kind of my character in Utopia. He's a bit like that. He's a little bit like that.
Yeah.
I feel like.
what colour's your shit?
Yeah. Yeah. After dinner, he feels a bit sad. So I feel like it's me plus or minus, depending how you look at it, 10 or 20%. My character in Utopia.
Yeah.
Is
Because he's a guy who's always in a good mood. You know, nothing
if he's
ever,
eating right.
Nothing, if he's eating
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Nothing ever phases him or bothers him. And his motto in life is a problem passed on to someone else is a problem solved. And he feels no guilt or shame whatsoever about passing on those problems.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah. So I've really enjoyed Utopia. So I'd love to do more acting. You know, it's a competitive business though.
Are you a goal setter?
Yeah, I am. Yeah. My goals aren't as firm as they should be. I've set mostly short-term goals lately.
Like what sort of things?
So, for example, I just, you know what, they tend to be radio related, radio gig related, or TV gig
How much
related.
can you control that shit though? Like at the end of the day, it's you're needing to have a CD or someone like.
You had a number one rating show on
Well,
Triple.
I did have a number one rating radio
Gold,
show.
yeah.
So I don't send out, you know,
You're not doing air check.
I don't send out a reel or an
Yeah.
air check, you know what I mean? Because I feel like people know, you know. So it's about me just talking to people and saying, hey, you know, that's a gig I wouldn't mind doing, or that's something I'm interested in.
Is that how
or-
you say it?
go, that's a gig I wouldn't mind doing.
Just eating your fruit fucking chops or whatever.
Do you call people?
Eating my fruit chops before I feel sad.
Are you making hard calls to calling Duncan Campbell or someone these bosses? Are you actually doing that?
I'm not really, but I'm often pitching shows, pitching ideas.
Are they written out?
To TV and radio people.
What does it look like? Like if you pitch an idea, you're like, mate, I've got a fucking idea.
But often it'll be, something like that. It could be as simple as that, where you just stop someone in a hallway and go, I'll go on for you.
Oh, that's good.
What about blah,
Have you
blah, blah?
had any good examples of where a very small conversation has led to something big? It's a hard one. But.
Let me think. Not that I can.
I mean, getting a sandwich ends up on this podcast. It was our conversation.
So I did The Glass House years ago, which was the show Will Anderson used to do with Hughesy and Corinne Grant on the ABC, little chat show. I was a guest on that one night. Then I was in the green room afterwards, and Kevin White, who runs Token Management, we were sitting in the green room together, and I wasn't a client of Tokens at the time. I didn't really have management at the time. And he said to me, just as a side comment, he goes, "Are you into footy?" I said, "Yeah, I bloody love footy." He goes, "All right." And that was the entirety of that conversation, and that led to me being a panellist on Before the Game for 11 years. So that's an example, I guess, of a small conversation leading to something big.
Think about how many pubs where people are saying that. It definitely doesn't lead to that. You're into footy? Yeah. And then I was fucking there.
And then all of a sudden. So that, and then Before the Game has led to all manner of other football-related gigs.
Yeah. I think early days in people's careers, you end up actively putting yourself in these positions to try and get these things to happen, to try and meet these people. Is there a difference when you've been doing it? Is the mindset not, I'm actively out trying to do this? It's just, I'm amongst it. I'll always be having conversations.
You are. You're pretty much always pitching ideas, talking to people about what could work for them, what could work for you. And you and you only want to do projects that you're really, really into. I'm not, you won't ever find me hosting a fast food club.
You could. Maybe that's exactly what they need.
That'd be good. I've watched that.
So it's a bit of like the rounds at the moment. So Melbourne Comedy Festival, is there a Sydney one before then, or what are you doing?
So I only did Adelaide. So I wasn't going to do a show this year because I just didn't feel as though I had a show in me. But Craig Egan, who runs the Rhino Room in Adelaide, talked me into it because it's a special anniversary of Adelaide comedy and he wanted me to come back. So he talked me into it. So I said, sure, I'll pull a show together. And anyway, ended up I really liked the show. So the show's called Younger Than Brad Pitt. Because I am younger than
And so you're going to do it at the other festivals?
I'm younger than Brad Pitt. And I really like the show. So it's about getting old, the show, and it's been a bit of fun. So I might do it at the Melbourne Fringe later this year. And if that goes well, then I'll do a full run of festivals next year. So it goes Perth Fringe, Adelaide Fringe, Brisbane Comedy Festival, Melbourne Comedy Festival, Sydney Comedy Festival, Perth Comedy Festival. So all that goes from the start of January to the end of May.
What's the difference in audience between, say, Adelaide, Sydney, Melbourne?
It's as far as audience numbers go.
No, more.
Like we're talking Carl Barron now.
No, more vibe.
Look, from a festival point of view, I think the Adelaide Fringe has the best vibe. Like it's just that city hands itself over to the Fringe. And
is it because you're just high on sugar from all the food?
Yeah, possibly. But there's just a really cool buzz around town.
Yeah.
It's a really cool vibe. And everywhere you go, you get a sense of the Fringe.
Is Clipsal 500 on at the same time or something?
Yeah. It's now called the Superloop 500.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So that's on at the same – so it was on last weekend. So that was 4 days.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting mix, your V8 crowd.
Do you get the polo shirt wearing?
V8 crowd mixed in with
comedy.
I had a couple of V8 fans in my show on Saturday night, and I could tell they were V8 fans because they were wearing the uniforms. Which, how many sports do people wear the uniform to watch the sport? Right? So V8s they do, like covered in sponsors and everything on their shirts. The worst example or best example is cycling. So the tour down under in South Australia, cyclists dressed in full lycra ride their bikes to watch cyclists dressed in full lycra and go around the track. And but they wear the same, like all the same sponsors hanging over their beer guts on the bike. Footy, people wear jumper to it.
Boxing, they're not walking out. And
You can't get into a boxing match wearing just shorts and a belt. Swimming, if you rocked up with just budgie smugglers, you may not get in. Cricket, one day cricket maybe. Test cricket, I don't think you're going to turn up with.
Basketball, maybe you could wear.
I guess you'd wear the top over your.
I don't get the whole, like, I'm trying to actually get a deal with KO at the moment. I want to do a sports segment on here. All I'm asking for is a subscription. It's pretty low level shit.
I mean,
right?
what we know about deals is you need to bring value.
I saw fucking Triple M's got a massive KO watermark. They're doing shit with them. Surely, like, for a podcast, we're digital. People on devices.
I've
sent emails.
Is this your pitch to KO right now?
No, I don't know if you know Max Price, but we had Max Price on, who's done shit.
I
with
do know
KO.
Max. Max worked on I worked on the footy show with Max.
Oh, great. Yeah,
Yeah.
And so, like, I pitched it to him. Callan Sinclair from the Swans.
Oh yeah.
I pitched it to him as well. But yeah,
It's not going well,
yeah, all I want is, I think it's probably so low level they don't know how to deal with it. You know, because like, okay, we need to organise legal to get a contract.
They're
so
actually
this guy
saying you're a
can
tight
get-
ass, just pay the $10 a month.
No, it's not 10. That's
much,
like
25?
It's 25.
Oh, wow.
Like that.
It's $25 a month. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not that much if you're into sport.
Yeah, that's good. Are you?
That's another one of my subscriptions. KO.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah. Well, I just feel like I could get into baseball. I'm thinking that, like, just from a quality point of view, it looks great on the TV. And if
Baseball.
yeah.
It does. I'm not a massive baseball fan,
But you can appreciate the cinematography.
but I can appreciate what
Yeah.
you're looking at there. I'm more of with American sports. Basketball I like, and ice hockey.
Oh yeah, we thought about that.
Live is
Right.
really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's rough. We got a puck over there. They are fucking hard. You wouldn't want that coming at your face.
That's a soft one as well.
Is
That's
it?
not even proper. Yeah.
Jeez.
It's one that Dill bought at the gift shop.
It's a bullshit puck. Sorry about that, Lehmo. That's embarrassing, really.
Just serving up a bullshit puck.
Thank you for coming on the show.
It's made me a bit sad.
Yeah, can you thread in some of the sadness to your shows? I like it.
We should.
You know what? It's made me think I should talk about being sad on stage. I've never done that as material on
really?
stage.
Great. What
It's
about
a part
the
of
fast,
being old, mate.
It's part of being old. It all ties in.
fast food sad or something like that? I feel like there could be some sort of fast
It's a great
food
the bit
element to
about
it.
how quickly do you get sad from the food.
Yeah.
Different food groups.
Yeah, I like because Macca's back 20 years ago, it just didn't make me sad at all.
Really. So,
I just eat it and then I'd be happy for the rest of the day.
so is it a guilt? Is this culture putting on this, or do you think they've changed the ingredients?
I think because now I'm more conscious of my general health, despite the fact that I'll drink a bottle of wine and eat a.
Yeah, sure. So you've created a story about that you're okay with, but the burger thing,
Yeah.
you're thinking too much about.
I'm thinking, mind you, the chocolate and the red wine do make me sad at some point.
Yeah, sure.
But I'm thinking more about the burgers. I think you knew this was going to happen.
Can we do a video with you where we take you to Nandos and we see how quickly you get sad? It's a timer that starts.
Actually, take me to all the fast food places and we'll see, and we'll create a leaderboard.
You literally
It could
said
be
you
like-
wouldn't do a fast food show. We've just sold in a fast food show. I love this.
Prep the contract, Sam.
It could be like Top Gear. So just have the leaderboard
Yeah.
at the top.
Blood sugar levels. We could do all that sort of stuff.
Oh,
We'll get the doc involved, Dr. Rochford.
Yeah, you can just be
Docking.
checking the shit.
test my shit colour.
Yeah. Are you just quickly? Are you soft drink guy? Do you drink soft
No,
drink? No,
not at all.
not even like a diet Coke. No.
Nah.
Coke Zero?
Okay, that's a slight lie. If I rock up to a gig and I'm feeling a bit tired, I'll have a lemonade.
Oh, okay. Lemonade's almost like a bit medical. Like I feel like
No,
lemonade's
it's because
coming
your
in.
mum said if you're feeling a bit sick,
Yeah,
have a
have
lemonade.
lemonade.
Have a lemonade.
That's exactly
Yeah.
what I got.
If I'm on a long car drive and I'm feeling tired, I'll have a V.
Oh, you're an animal.
Yeah, I know.
That's full
But
on.
aside from that, I'm water, beer, and red wine.
Fizzy water or just normal
Nah,
water?
just
Okay.
normal.
All right.
Great.
Glad we got that sorted.
Yes.
It would have been so annoying if we didn't.
Is this the player profile you put together every episode?
Could you imagine the card? It would actually be quite good, like the fast food. I'm imagining stuff. All right. Thanks, Lehmo. It's a Daily Talk Show. If you enjoyed the show, leave us an Apple Podcast review. Otherwise, see you tomorrow, guys.
See ya.